Hey, one of you guys told us about the band called The Warning, which we hadn't heard before, and we listened to it, and let's just say we were well pleased. Actually, no, we were pretty blown away. Like, really enjoyed it. So we promised each other we wouldn't listen to any of The Warning without each other. So for you, we've been holding off, and here's the choke. That's the name of the song. It's not a anyway.
I won't say goodbye. In the end, it won't matter at all. I'm sure I won't survive the fall.
I just want to say the thing that strikes me from these guys, which is very, I mean, most performers, professional performers, have to have this in large degree, but their stage charisma is just so high level. The way she like moved from that to the end, like you're just like, bam, like take me with you.
Like I have a lot of attitude look as she's turning away from the camera.
Yeah. It's just like take me with you, and it makes you want to be taken with them on their journey.
Yep.
That is really awesome charisma.
Wear your tears like jewelry that bites. It's overpriced, but honest at its time. With me, don't cry. Just let me drown. Let me let me dive in, sinking deeper. Push my heart, drop me till I drown. Let me drown.
That that rich, deep. Deep's not the right word I'm looking for, but
Full?
dark. Yes.
Okay.
Dark and full voice that she does, right? Where it's very low down here, very open up here, and it just comes out with this really powerful feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just it's not this like high up here kind of fine poppy sound, but this really rich rock sound that comes
Yes.
out, and it's so good.
It screams hard rockers.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's a chick.
Yep.
she's like 10 years younger than us, and she's just like nailing it. And they're all of them. They're just like everything's solid, everything's on the money, and the sound is like, yeah, that's good.
It is good.
I'm happy with this.
Okay, I love the visual here. I don't know exactly how they're doing it. It might be like some waves in the ceiling, but I don't. Anyway, so we have the straight line light, and the reflection of the straight line light almost looks like lightning shooting down at the light. It's really cool visual. I think they pulled it off with something reflective that's got a bit of wave to it. But it's really cool looking. Adds a lot of effect. It's almost like the lightning is striking down and lighting up their studio around them.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It sucks that we aren't listening to this on our own.
So we can't just listen to more?
Because I want to listen to this. I just want to listen. We need to knock out a few of these today because I want to listen to this on my drive tonight.
Drifting out of trust, slipping down my throat into my lungs. It's cold, but this is where I'll stay. Comfortably in pain. Wear your tears like dew.
That was a cool line. This is where I'll stay, comfortably in pain.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I was just like
I know this whole thing.
overwhelmed by the visuals
It is.
of
I know.
it.
I know. It's like hard to focus on one thing here because it's a very engaging song. You know, we've had songs where it's like it feels like there's a lot of symbolism and philosophy and things like that, and they're like, oh, let's talk about this idea and how it relates to this. But this one, I'm just like sucked into it. I just really like this band.
Her facial expression, every time it like cuts to her making some just really in your face expression,
Yeah.
She really expresses it well.
Yeah.
There's no like, well, she's trying to
Right.
act the emotion.
Yes.
That is there. It is raw.
Right.
The emotion has made its way to her face and it's bursting out.
And it's ramped up without being cheesy.
Yes.
And that's hard to do. Because
Yes.
at a certain point, you like ramp it up, and you're just like, okay, we can tell you're just trying to ramp it up. But this is like, boom, she's like hitting it on the money every time with those expressions. Just the stage charisma of this group is just next level. And the girl in the water just realized, you know, she's in water and not at rehearsal. She's like,
You know, this
wait a minute.
I actually can't breathe this time.
I'm not supposed to be at the pool today.
Oh, that drum solo. Okay, back it up. I gotta listen to that
Yeah,
again.
the lyrics are cool
That
too.
drum solo just blew my mind. I play drums and not this well. That was a good solo.
Dude,
That's a really cool, different mix of
Yeah.
the voices there.
Oh,
During
man.
the bridge, it was instead of the normal lead singer who has the higher, very aggressive tones, it was a lower pitch alto singer. I'm not sure which one of the sisters it was singing the lower notes, but they didn't cut out the higher notes.
I almost wondered
the
if
higher
it was-
notes were in the back.
Yeah, I almost wonder if it was her twice.
It's possible.
I'm not sure. I know they all sing because they all sang in the last one, but because the middle melody there, I think was still her.
Oh.
But then the higher notes were there, but it almost seemed like that was her.
Oh,
So
man.
I'm not really sure. But I really liked that.
I really liked the bridge, and then the transition from the bridge, and I'm going to back up a couple seconds so we can experience that without the pause, but it jumps from the bridge and kind of those calmer low notes right back into the chorus with all the energy that it had to begin with, and that transition being so stark throws you right back into the song. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Oh, you finished early there.
I did. I stopped just a hair early before the last note that I wasn't expecting. All right, so the end there, the transition on the guitar had been pretty pure. Enough of a, I forget the word for this, the like metal garble sound that they put on the guitar. It's one of the pedals.
There's a lot of pedals.
Yeah. Grunge. So that grunge sound that they had on the guitars the whole time was amped up a lot as they transitioned into the outro guitar riff. And at the same time as that outro guitar riff, which was a bit more grungy, they added the red light, mixing with the white light, and it was just that was a really good way to take the feeling of the music that had changed and apply that visually.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what was cool too is the theme of the song, right? With both the visuals in the water as well as the lyrics, where you have this concept of like, I'm drowning in this thing, right? And it's like, let me drown, like let me go.
Don't solve my problems for me.
Yeah, it's like, and then like I'll be there and I'll get comfortable with pain. And then you see in the imagery, the girl goes from like, oh no, I'm drowning, to like, nah, I'm swimming. Like, this is my zone. And I think a lot of times as parents, like that's kind of the tendency to be like, look, do it this way, do what I tell you. Wow, I sound like myself. I'm like, there's parents and there's me. You know, I'm just like, I'm just drawing from my own experience here. I tell my kids, like, do what I'm telling you. You know, and like, you try to set them on this path, like, don't mess, like, do this and it'll work for you. It's not working because you're doing it your way. Wow, I need counseling or something. Anyway, my point is, a lot of times what people feel like they need, or what people tend to do in rebellion to that, is like, no, like, let me do it my way. I encounter that a lot in martial arts. There are some teachers who, when they teach you something and then you go to try to do it and they're like, no, you're doing it wrong. Let me show you again. And then you're like, okay, and you haven't even like done it once, and they're like, no, and you're like, well, dude, I need to do it wrong before I can do it right. I have to navigate this unknown territory so I can feel it, and then I'll feel it's wrong and I'll feel it's right, and it'll work. But if you take that away from me, I don't get the opportunity, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, like navigating new territory or pain or discomfort or ignorance or whatever it is hard. And sometimes it feels like you're drowning and you don't know what to do and all this stuff. But ultimately, you get comfortable with that. You get comfortable in the chaos, in the pain, and whatever it is. And then it becomes your domain. It's no longer a place that's choking you. It's a place that sets you free for movement and exploration. So I really like that theme. And I think that they did a good job portraying that visually, especially with the emotions of the girl in the water, right? You can clearly see she's like, oh snap, I just woke up in this spot and I was not supposed to be here. To like, oh no, I'm drowning, I'm choking. To like, bro, this is my world, all right?
That's actually something I'm like really familiar with. So I swim for exercise, right?
I was going to ask if you had PTSD from this morning watching this.
Yeah, so I'm in the process of learning how to do a correct like flip turn. When you see the swimmers at the Olympics, you know, they swim to the end and they do this flip thing where they don't stick their head out of the water and start swimming upside down. That, as it turns out, is kind of hard to do right. And when you're first trying to do it, you feel like you are drowning. You're running out of air because it takes so long from when you take your last breath to when you can take your first breath again going the other direction. And you have to learn to experience that domain, that discomfort and lack of oxygen. And you have to know where your limit is to know, okay, this is about how far I can make it before I have to put my head out of the water and take a breath again. And that is an experience that you have to have in any domain where you're learning anything. You're going to have moments that are tough. I just happen to swim, so I relate with what she was going through. Where you like, a lot of the fear of, oh no, I'm going to drown when you're swimming is mostly in your head. You don't need to take the breaths as often as you feel like you need to.
Right.
And yeah, it makes a big difference knowing where you're at, feeling, having it gone up to some of these boundaries, these limits that you can experience. And then once you've experienced the boundary, you know that, okay, this is the domain within which I can handle. So I'll stay here.
Right. Yeah, it brings to mind flexibility. So I've had some issues with like my hips. I had surgery and stuff like that. But like I've been working on my flexibility. I just started a flexibility routine today. And it's like, man, this feels horrible. You know, it's like, it hurts, you know? And it's like, yeah, but at some point you get comfortable with the pain. It's like the pain doesn't go away, right? Like you first get comfortable with the pain and then you get the freedom of movement. And it's like, if you're afraid of whatever it is, like the unknown or chaos or pain or whatever it is, you're not going to be able to get to the point where you have that freedom of movement, where you're able to do the flip in the water or the splits or like swim around like she did in the thing. You know what I mean? And or however that else applies to life, you know, emotionally or whatever.
Yeah. And one thing that's interesting with swimming, particularly when relating to this, is the way that you first get through that feeling is you blow air out while you're under the water. It feels completely counterintuitive. Like blowing the air out is, I'm going to drown. I need that air in me. But if you have that air in you, your body actually reacts harder to it. You're going to feel like you need a breath a lot earlier than you actually do. You have to continually let the air out. And you could see her actually doing that in the song. You could see the bubbles coming up out of her mouth.
Yeah.
She has to let the air out in order to feel comfortable. And they showed that, and that was cool.
Same with flexibility training.
Really?
Yeah, if you hold your breath, you're not going to do as well.
There you go.
So, anyway, if you guys like this, check out the other video we did of The Warning, where we watched their video called
Disciple,
which was also really fun. And subscribe if you haven't, please. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.